Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another video. My name is Tom from 6 Foot Networks. Thank you for joining me here today. I am sitting in my driveway. I just finished work for the day, and it's been a long time since I've actually done one of these videos, so I figured I'd quickly just take a moment while I unwind for the night and just talk to you guys a bit about what's happened over the last few days. So I'm sure by now you guys have heard about the class action suit that GM is facing up in Canada and in other parts of the world. I guess they're chiming in. Haven't really read much into that. It happened last week, but there isn't really a lot of news about it. I think we all kind of knew that was going to happen, and we all sort of saw it coming. I'm surprised there aren't more, but it is what it is. So by now, everybody that watches the channel, you guys know that I am in the middle of the buyback for this vehicle. So I think this process started just over a month ago, and we're actually getting some headway. One of the things that I wanted to tell you guys actually was that I'm pretty sure that the dealership contacted GM. So the local dealership I'm referring to, that's local to me. In fact, it's the place where I purchased the vehicle. They openly said that they are not participating in any of the recall activities. So they're not replacing any batteries. They're not doing any work that has to do with these cars, which is weird because I'm pretty sure that they're selling them. So they're selling them, but they're not supporting them. So it goes back to that point that I made a couple of weeks ago where, the dealerships are just, kind of a halfway point where they'll sell you the car, but then the minute you need them, they no longer exist to you. They're not, all these dealerships that say, oh, we'll treat our customers like family. No, you don't. Plain and simple. That's just a lie. It's a marketing tactic. So it is what it is. But I spoke to GM actually yesterday. My I guess my case worker, or whatever she's called, she reached out to me and openly told me that the dealership finally reached out to her saying that they would not be participating, which is great because that allows us to move on to dealerships that are outside of my immediate area, which is great. I know that some of you from California, specifically Los Angeles, have mentioned that you guys have gone through the same process and you've been dealer hopping. Some of you have gone through multiple dealerships. I'm pretty sure that I'm not at the tail end of this, just with the way things are going and the experiences that you guys have shared with me. It's allowed me to kind of brace for impact. It's set my expectations a little bit better, so I'm actually feeling okay about that, because now I know that, okay, any, one step forward might only be like a quarter of a step forward. I won't think that we're making more progress and then ultimately get my heart broken or some kind of a setback to where the timelines gets extended or whatnot. So I really appreciate you guys sharing your experiences with me, specifically those of you from around the Los Angeles area. It's really been helpful, and honestly, it's been pretty consistent. My experiences have kind of matched up with what you guys have shared with me. So for that, I thank you guys. With that said, the dealership that GM is now in communication with, as of yesterday, is a dealership in Northridge, California, home of the massive earthquake back in '94. For those who aren't California natives, that dealership has seemed to have started talks with GM to buy back my car, in hopes that I think they can resell it now that the stop sale has been lifted. I don't know. I don't know what the process is for these cars once they're, bought back. I don't know what the dealerships do. I'm pretty sure they have to send them back to GM, and GM parks them someplace. But be that as it is, the process is moving forward. At least that much. It's not a whole lot from, 4 or 5 weeks ago, but at least the communication lines are getting better. My caseworker is actually really great. She is really, honest and truthful. She told me, she's like, you're not going to like what I'm going to tell you. And I'm like, well, try me. And then she'll tell me, and I'm like, I kind of saw it coming, and then, we'll have a laugh or whatever. I feel like, the more humor you can bring into a conversation, the lighter the conversation ultimately gets. I already know from, just the experience of dealing with this, as well as what you guys have shared with me down below in the comments, that this isn't going to be a simple, 2-week process or whatever. Clearly, I mean, we're already pushing the 6th week, I believe, since I filed the original paperwork with the Better Business Bureau of Michigan. Yes, I think that's what I did. A lot of time has passed, so I'm trying to remember. But yes, I'm fully aware that it will take forever. And having these conversations, I know it's got to be awkward for them because they can't just, snap their fingers and magically a car appears in my driveway. In fact, the last conversation, which was yesterday, I actually mentioned, I said, it really, help me understand this buyback process. And she said, yeah, no problem. We engage a dealership and then we facilitate a transfer of ownership because the dealership has specific either managers or staff that can handle transfers of ownership, and it essentially takes care of the paperwork. On top of that, the dealerships are supposed to be getting a pretty major compensation from GM on even taking part of the process of the buyback. So for them facilitating, they're actually paid for that. So any dealership like this clown fest here in Valencia, California, that call themselves a dealership, but they're really just, I'm just going to leave it at that because I was about to get derailed. Sorry about that, guys. Not who I am, not who I want to be. So, but these guys over here, they're essentially turning away money. So they would have gotten paid by GM for every transaction that they would have helped GM close. And from what I understand, it's a pretty sizable sum per vehicle. So any dealership that is like, no, we're not taking part of it, or, whatever the case may be, I'm wondering what their philosophy on that is, because anybody in this day and age that turns away essentially free money, okay, so maybe they have to sign some papers or they have to deal with a customer, whatever. It's money. You get paid for it. I told GM, I said, listen, I'd be happy to, go to AAA or go to the DMV and file some paperwork if it means that I get whatever dealership we're not working with, I get their cut. I'd be happy to be the dealership in question here. Unfortunately, I can't be because I'd need to actually be a dealership to facilitate this. So they can't work with private citizens, private owners directly. It's a shame because I think GM would A, save a lot of money, and B, I think a lot of headaches would get resolved too if they could just do what Tesla does and just ship the vehicle to you. But it is what it is. I get it. I'm not going to fight it. I'm just going to roll with the punches. It is what it is. These guys have been pretty decent. I know some of you have said that the experience has been, rock bottom, super rough, like a boxing match that's never ending. In some ways it is. There's a lot of uncertainties. There's a lot of, I don't know what next week's going to bring. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I still have to, contend with this car's limitations and the fact that I can't get the battery replaced again for the same reason that I called it a clown fest. I can't believe that. But in some ways it is. It's literally like going to a circus. The dealership is so disorganized. You walk in, even if you wanted to buy a car. Like, I remember when I came to that dealership looking specifically for the Bolt EV, my kiddo, my son Eddie, and I showed up there to just look at it. And it took them 45 minutes to find somebody that would be able to answer questions on it. And I said, I didn't want questions answered. I want to know who has the key, who has the fob, so that we can go drive it. I don't have any questions. I spent 9 months researching the vehicle. I probably know more than the sales guy. And as it turns out, I was able to quote everything that the sales guy didn't know. So it was pretty funny. But I should have known then and there that that dealership was going to be a tough bite to swallow. And sure enough, since then, it's been nothing but that. You know, I, I just don't like dealing with dealerships. It's really one of those things that if I could deal with GM directly and just avoid that, I feel like so much more stress is added to an already volatile situation. You know, you're already semi sort of miserable as a customer, as a paying customer, that you have to go back to the dealership that may or may not have given you a good deal. They may have treated you like crap, but you were there for the vehicle, not for them, and you kind of dealt with it. And you sucked it up, you took a deep breath, and you were like, okay, let's do this. I did that, you know, and it was tough because I had a trade-in that was upside down. I had, you know, all the rebates from Costco and everything else that had to be kind of accounted for. And the guy was just rushing. He wasn't filling the paperwork out right. In fact, at one point, the guy left for, I don't know, about 20 minutes or so, came back with a stack of papers, started flipping through the page, looking at them, and then he took like a third of it and just shredded it and put it to the side. And I'm thinking to myself, what just happened? So I'm guessing incorrect paperwork or whatever, but I let it go because I was already exhausted, tired, and they made me wait several times. But I ended up with the car that I ordered. It was the car, you know, that showed up from Michigan with 3 miles on it. I had the VIN number 2 weeks before I got it. And it was great because I got to, you know, see it. I remember I registered with OnStar and the My Chevrolet app, and I kept hoping that it would pop on, like, you know, be like, hey, here we are. But they never turned it on. I guess they shipped it with everything disconnected. And then the dealership plugged it in. I got a notice saying that there were battery issues the day that I was supposed to pick it up. But I guess it was just the car reconstituting itself after the delivery. But anyway, I'm talking too much. I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I'll look more into the class action suit tonight. You know, now that I'm here, I'll go have dinner, and then I'll take a look at the latest and greatest with the lawsuit. I'm pretty sure it's standard. You know, I think the one line that I ended up reading was that somebody in Canada is claiming that GM knew farewell that these cars had problems and that they allowed the sale to continue anyway, knowing that the problems were there. I don't know. That's all. I think it was just speculation. I think the lawsuit is far away from being resolved. But in any case, I hope you guys had a great week. I know it's only Thursday. I don't know if I'll put out a video tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe I'll get some details on the lawsuit and publish them. But for now, have a good weekend. I hope you guys are doing well. As always, go down below. Leave me your thoughts. I love to respond to your comments. So anything that comes up, just go down there, start a conversation. I guess in the meantime, be safe, take care, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.